All right, what is up, you fatties? It's John, also known as JoJo, and I'm about to do one of the cringiest things I've ever done in my life, or what I think is one of the cringiest things. I'm about to record at the gym. You're coming with me, all right? So pretty much I'll be recording the exercises that I have been doing on my previous routine. Reason as to why is I'm actually changing routines very, very soon, and I'm actually pretty excited to update you with some big news as well overall. So yeah, I'll just be hitting a couple sets, probably just 1 or 2 sets so I have enough to talk over. And yeah, I'll just give some tips about the exercises if I do have any. I'll try to get the best form possible so I don't misrepresent how you should be executing your technique on said exercise. So I guess let's just jump right into it. Fuck it. We ball! Because my soldiers do not buckle and yield when faced with the cruelty of this world. Alright, what is up, you fatties? It's JoJo in audio format. I'll just be doing a voiceover for the rest of the video. This is my first time doing one, so please bear with me. If you saw my last video, you'll know I'm doing a push-pull leg split. So starting off with push day, we've got the weight-assisted dips. Here I'm trying to bias my chest. So the way I do this is just scooting a little bit back on the pad, and you want to lean forward as you're going down. One thing I've found that's helped me personally is I retract my scapulas as I'm performing the eccentric portion of the exercise, and it usually helps me recruit a lot more of my chest muscles when I'm going up. So for the eccentric portion, you just want to do it nice and controlled, and then explode on the concentric. And you'll notice I'm not only doing this on the dips, but on all exercises if possible. Typically, I try to maximize my range of motion, just so I make sure that I'm also increasing the time of the tension on the muscles per exercise. For the machine chest press, you want to keep your wrists and your elbows stacked together. It's really just going to help you really drive that force through instead of leaking it through parts where it's not translating directly. So once again, nice and controlled. Explode on the concentric, and then control it on the way back. Up next, we've got incline dumbbell presses. With here, you don't want to flare your elbows out. You don't want to do a T-pose at all, or else you're going to load your rotator cuffs, and trust me, you won't have a great time. So normally you want to tuck your elbows in, just not too much so that they're completely bound to your sides. Try to keep it at a 45-degree angle. That should work for the most part. You will also notice I pump my chest up a little bit on the eccentric as I bring the dumbbells down. I just like getting that extra little bit of stretch. I personally like it, but you don't have to do it. I just think it's more of a preference option. Up next, we've got the machine chest flies on the pec deck, the busiest machine at the gym, but I got lucky today. So typically I set up by scooting forward on the seat. I like to place my scapulas resting firmly on that backrest. I bring one side with both of my arms, and then I grab the other. I lock my fingers at the center just to make sure I have a nice position, and then I slowly control that motion on the way back. You'll also notice I tuck in my elbows as I'm doing this. Reason why is I don't want to overload my rotator cuff, and when I keep my arms completely branched out or completely straight as I go back, my shoulder tends to rotate because my elbow tends to flare to the side. So I found out if I just tuck my elbows in, I'm able to control the motion properly, and I'm also able to push. So that's about it for push day. Moving on to pull day, we start with weight-assisted pull-ups. These are pretty great. You want to do them nice and controlled. Try to get that full range of motion as you're able to, but if your shoulders are twisting, then that's pretty much where you have to stop. You start these with a little bit of a scapular pull-up. So you start the motion from the top, and then you let the rest of your back do the work. Try to not pull through your arms.
It's really just going to activate the flexors on your forearms, and you're going to get pretty gassed. So normally I try to just start the motion from below my elbows, and typically that tends to activate my back pretty well. And once I'm gassed with doing the pull-ups, I transfer over to doing negatives. So I just kick myself up with my leg, and I control the eccentric on the way down. And these have proven to be quite useful. Hold on, we got a little cameo right here. I had no clue you showed up, but thanks for doing so. You made my night. So really for the eccentrics, for the negative pull-ups, you just want to kick yourself up and then really control it on the way down. Nice and slow. Don't cheat yourself. You're not doing a full pull-up, so might as well do a full negative, right? Up next, we've got the wide grip lat row. I don't know why I said it so slowly. So typically I opt for a wide grip instead of a shorter grip. I like to bias my lats, so I lean a little bit forward and I start the motion from the front and I lean back. You just don't want to be too aggressive as you lean back. I do understand if you're too straight up, your traps are going to take over for most of the motion, and I am trying to bias my lats, so I just really want to start that motion when they're in the most stretched position. So again, nice and slowly on the eccentric, explode on the concentric, and then you're good to go. Alright, up next we've got single arm rows on the machine. So once again, full range of motion. However, you don't want to drag it too far back. Typically you want to keep your elbow tucked to the side, and that's the furthest you go. Any more than that and your shoulder will be working overtime, and once again, it just goes into your rotator cuff, and you will not be having a good time. So just explode on the concentric, nice and slow on that eccentric, and let it rip. So right here we've got the single arm lat pull down. I train them unilaterally, and I do struggle a little bit on the top portion of the exercise once my arm is fully lengthened. I tend to lose all tension because the weight slams onto the stack. So with this I have to kneel down just so I have a little bit more room to work with. Once again, elbow to the side, and you want to start the force through your elbow so you activate your lower lats. And once you're done with one side, go to the next. Same motion. I also recommend starting with almost as if you were doing a scapular pull-up and activate those scapulars on the way down. It will make this a lot easier. And here's the last exercise for pull. We're working the rear delts with the rear fly on the pec back. Here you don't want to go all the way back because your scapulars will smash into each other, and there's absolutely no need. As long as you spread your arms out nice and wide, that should be more than enough. I also like hitting a little pause at the end of the concentric portion of the exercise, and then just control it nice and slow, as if I were to do another. So that's about it for pull day. Moving on to leg day, we start off with the leg press. Typically I warm up just stretching a little bit, doing a couple squats with body weight, and then we're good to go for the leg press. I do like biasing my quads here because I have weak knees and they stabilize the more I strengthen my quads, so it's a no-brainer for me. That's why you're going to notice the low foot placement here. You will also notice that my belly is impeding me from getting more range of motion. So I've tried pointing my toes towards the outside, and it has helped a little bit, but I'm looking into other techniques such as moving my knees wider as well. Up next, we've got leg extensions. I don't know why I looked at the camera here in more than one instance, but just deal with it. Nice and controlled as always. You really want to control the eccentric on this one. You're gonna feel almost your quads as they're peeling off of you, just because you're keeping it nice and controlled. So hit a little pause when you're at the bottom, and then let it rip. If you get extremely gassed, it's okay to do some lengthened partials at the lower portion of the exercise because it does provide most resistance. So if you've got weak joints like me because of the injuries, that should be a great alternative for you. As far as leg curls go, I try to keep my back all the way, backward on that backrest. I try to arch my hip a little bit so I'm able to get the hamstring into the most stretch position. And once again, just explode on the concentric, relax on that eccentric, nice and controlled. Do a little pause and control it as if you were to do another. Alright, moving on, we've got hip abduction. This is one of my favorite exercises to work on in legs, just because I really want to stabilize my hips. So, hey, I guess we go hard. I am able to max the stack, however, so I have to stop doing these very, very soon and transfer over to more of a calisthenic approach and use advantage of my body weight to train my hips more. So on this machine, depending on how much you lean, you will be targeting different muscles around your hips and glutes. So I would recommend just playing around with it a little bit, not just sticking to what suits you better, but actually branching out on this one, just so that you make sure you're training the best way you possibly can. I do have to say these are killer, so you are in for a hell of a burn. I suggest you blast some music so that you're ready to fight all of your demons, or no music at all and just fight them in a solo battle, but that's psychotic if you ask me. And last but not least, we got hip abduction. This one also burns equally bad. It's horrible. I hate it. I despise it. But as I said, we ball. It does get easier as you go. It also gets a lot more painful as you go, but you definitely get used to it. You want to go nice and controlled here. I can't really open my legs as much, but I open them as much as I can. Pause, so I'm able to get most range of motion. But I know I'll get there eventually. One tip I could give you is to really pay attention to when you're pushing your legs closer together. Try to not bang the footrests as you come towards the middle, or you will feel that shock throughout the whole muscle. And it's probably okay if you do it, in the first 2 to 3 reps in the first set, but once you're finishing the fourth set, last rep, and you bang them together, once again, you're not gonna have a great time. But yeah, that just about does it for leg day. After each workout, I take 5 to 10 minutes to stretch, then I just drink a little bit of water, and I'm good to go. So yeah, that just about does it for my shonen protagonist training, as I call it, because it is hundreds of reps, pretty much. This was me at December 2023, 361 pounds. And this is me at September, end of September, clocking it at 298, 297. But you can see the difference, bright as day. And we still have a very long way to go, so don't forget to get those gains. Winter arc, we ball. So yeah, that's about it for this video. If you enjoyed, be sure to give it a like. If there's anything you would like to see, make sure to leave it in the comments. Subscribe if you want to keep posted. And I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.